Hello everyone and welcome to Divine Debut. This is Kathy speaking. Thank you so much for being here. This is your Astro update. Today the 6th of February of 2021. As you can see, I hope that you're having a wonderful weekend. Let's look at the astrology update for a little bit. I will also be looking into the asteroids Vesta, Pallas Athene, and Juno. I will be referencing their mythology and how they energetically affect us from the mythic oracle that I use in my readings. Okay, because I know a lot of you are interested in the mythology, and it's very enlightening and very educational because we know what they mean. Anyway, happy birthday, dear Aquarius. If it's your birthday today, there is a party going on in the sign of Aquarius. We've got Mercury retrograding, Pallas Athene, the Sun, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn, all in Aquarius. Today, 6th of February, the Moon is now transiting Sagittarius, very jovial, very uplifting, very positive thinking as well. Always as the Moon transits through Sagittarius. Remember, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. That's why Sagittarius is a benefic sign. It brings luck, it brings expansion, it brings freedom, it brings spirituality, truth, law, and justice. All these things come under this sign here. So when the Moon is transiting this sign, it takes on the energy of it. So the Moon on the 11th of February will be entering Aquarius. We're going to have a new moon. New moons are always new beginnings, and new beginnings are always a time when we can send our wishes out to Spirit. Of course, for Aquarius, it's extra special. It's their new moon of the year. So, dear Aquarius, do not forget to send your wishes out to Spirit. Maybe in 6 months on the full moon in Aquarius, when that will be happening in the time of Leo. So, in 6 months from now, you may just receive your wish fulfillment. So, this goes for everyone, not only for Aquarius. It's just Aquarius's wild card. So new moon in Aquarius, and it's not only a new moon, everyone, it is also, let's go there. Let's go to the 11th. Okay, and well, 10th, from the 10th to the 11th, depending on where you are in the world, okay? Yeah, so on the 10th, of course, in the Northern Hemisphere, this is Greek time I have here. The Moon is already in Aquarius, so those of you that are a bit ahead of the Northern Hemisphere, and that would be the Southern Hemisphere, obviously the Moon will enter the sign of Aquarius sooner. Nevertheless, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 celestial bodies in the sign of Aquarius. This hasn't happened until, I should say, since the 4th of February of 1962. You can Google that date and see what was going on in the world then. What is Aquarius? Aquarius is the ingenious mind. It is having that 2020 vision. It's groups, associations, feeling part of a group. It's the house of friendship. It's the house of science. It's the house of freedom, the house of liberation. Remember that Uranus in Taurus, Uranus is the ruling planet of Aquarius, and obviously everything that I just mentioned about Aquarius is what Uranus is all about. Remember that usually Aquarius will need to look at things, they need to have that different perspective on things. If you tell an Aquarian something, they'll have to get the truth before they can give you the okay. They'll have to check it out. They're very intelligent, very, very much about being part of a group, but being very different, being the eccentric, the rebel. You know, I'm going to rebel, I'm going to revolt if I'm not happy with a situation, if it's not my truth, if it's not something that could hold promise for the future. Remember that Aquarius is also the internet. It's very futuristic, very scientifical. So with all these celestial bodies in Aquarius, especially, and I'm going to say, well, even Saturn, the ancient ruler of Aquarius, is here, which amplifies, obviously. Jupiter, the expander. Remember, Jupiter expands. It's the biggest planet in our solar system. It brings truth, it brings freedom. Again, it rules Sagittarius. Both Sag and Aquarius are very much about the freedom to move. There's no putting Aquarius in a box. No, no. Now, of course, Moon in Aquarius, I can detach emotionally and see things from the outside. Saturn is sort of, you know, doing the hard work here, checking up, because it's got to do with traditions. Remember, I've said many times that Saturn is not as heavy in Aquarius as it is in Capricorn, but it's sort of like, you know, keeping tabs on the future, sort of bringing a bit of the past into the future. So a reference of the past, very karmic, is Saturn. And this could also be, you know, nuances that we could be shedding or doing the work to take care of, things that are sort of holding us back, is Saturn in Aquarius. Because Aquarius wants to fly, just like that eagle, okay, wants to fly, but Saturn sort of keeps it a little bit grounded. So Venus in Aquarius. Venus loves being around her friends. She absolutely loves her friends, but also she loves everything that is very futuristic, very new. Venus, again, can also be detached, but also a very strong connection where friendships is concerned. Now, Venus can be love, money, values, projects, anything like that. Being in Aquarius, this is very futuristic. This could be a good time of working on the internet, receiving accolades from friends, from important friends, which could be Saturn and Jupiter. Jupiter loves Aquarius, very expansive. Mercury is just divine here in Aquarius. Remember, Mercury is the left brain. It's the logic. So there's logic, but there's also a sense of looking at things from the ethers. That's how high Aquarius goes. Aquarius is the it's something that's out of this world. It's the alien, right? It's that far out into the ethers. I think that Mercury in Aquarius brings a little bit of logic, and just, this is a very, very sharp mind where there's intelligence, but there's also logic. Now, Mercury is retrograding, so it's sort of doing the work. It's looking over things. Remember, there's curiosity with Mercury, and Mercury is the messenger of the gods. So he's up there in the ethers, and he's very close to the earth. So remember, retrogrades can mean confusion, misunderstandings, anything to do with gadgets, anything futuristic, scientific. There could be confusion around matters such as these. And again, the internet, missed messages, missed messages that you could be finding that you never knew were there with Mercury retrograde. Mercury will be retrograding here until the 21st of February, where it will go back to the 11th degree, right here where Venus is, but Venus will have moved, and then he will station to turn direct Remember that Mercury retrograde lasts about 3 weeks. So we've still got a couple of weeks of Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde can also mean my car breaks down, any electronic gadgets break down. Sometimes they can even fix themselves. Just put them aside and see what happens. We've got Pallas Athene here, which I will go into the mythology. You will understand what she's all about. And the Sun, of course, the Sun, which is not happy in Aquarius because the Sun rules Leo. So it's not in a strong position here. Nevertheless, all the eyes of the world are on Aquarius. Aquarius, again, as I said, the ethers, very alien, new, out of this world, eccentric, maverick, newness. There's so much newness coming in with all these energies here in Aquarius. But what the thing is here is that we've got difficult energies. We've got, remember, as I was saying, on the 20th of January, we had the exact conjunction of Mars right on top of Uranus, which I was saying is very explosive. I have been talking about freaky weather. Taurus is the Earth. Therefore, Uranus, which can be lightning, it could be hurricanes, any drastic, unexpected shake-ups of the weather, as I see Uranus, the Tower, and Mars on top of that, which could be explosive, fire and air, will blow something up, explosions, volcanic eruptions. I don't know if you've heard of all the tremors that have been going on in the world, non-stop, everywhere. And it's right on point, obviously. But the thing is here that we have, as you could see, Uranus is at 7 degrees, Saturn is at 6 degrees, and Saturn will conjoin very soon in a square. Well, I shouldn't use the word conjoin because that may confuse you. Uranus and Saturn will be squaring, and that will be happening on the 17th. It will be exact on the 17th of February. This will be happening 3 times this year, which, how I see it, because Aquarius is the people, right? Saturn is governments. It is restrictions, limitations. It's fears against, well, the fears of the unknown. How do we see Kronos and Saturn? Remember Kronos in mythology, he would eat his own children. He was all about that terror and that darkness and karma. So even though Saturn is lighter in Aquarius, he still has that limiting energy, trying to hold back on something, not letting something happen unless it's the perfect time, it's the right time, or the work has been done. Okay? Saturn is all about integrity. He is the strict teacher who will check up on you that you've done your homework. Now, remember that if we have governments squaring over to the people, that could be a clash. And how I see it, I call it the clash of the Titans, which in mythology is a big thing, a very important era. Google that if you like. In mythology, Clash of the Titans, Kronos, Saturn was a Titan. Okay, so Clash of the Titans means generally that the gods, the Olympian gods, had a major war, a clash. So the good with the evil was clashing, and that's how I see it. Whatever's going on up there in the sky, everyone, it actually reflects on our life here. Now, with all the lockdowns, the the fear, the illusions, the misleading news, all the lies and the deception and things that have been hidden, things that have not been clear. There's been illusions with what's going on in the world. I'm not going to name everything one by one. You all know what I'm talking about, because we do have Neptune in Pisces. Okay, Neptune in Pisces is the illusion. Neptune, the god of the seas, can really rough up those seas. Okay, he can be either very spiritual, so the divine, the ethers, ethereal love, everlasting, unconditional love, but he can also be deep illusion. Think of, one moment you're up in the ethers, you're amongst the gods, the angels, spirit, and then you're down in the depths of the ocean of Poseidon, of Neptune. So Neptune can be very highs and lows, such as that. So remember that we've had the nodes, everyone. We've had the nodes. Let's go back to the now. We've had the nodes at 19 degrees. So North Node in Gemini, South Node in Sagittarius, squaring over to Neptune. Now they're starting to break away. Remember that the nodes go the opposite way from the planets. So they're going clockwise. Clockwise is their normal rotation, whereas the planets go anti-clockwise. So therefore, even though Neptune is moving direct and the nodes are moving backwards, we could say, and therefore Neptune, the square from the nodes to Neptune, this T-square, let's say, which we've had for a while, is breaking away. Thank God, because that's what those nodes and squaring Neptune were like that at the same 19th degree for about, 2-3 months. It's all about illusion. It's all about the lid being put on the pot. We can't see what's cooking, okay? We haven't been able to see the spell, the potion, the soup that has been cooked because the lid was put on it, but the lid is going to come off. And we're going to see what kind of a can I call it a monstrosity? Can I call it a potion? There's many other words. I'd love to hear your comments on that. What word would you use for that? Something's been cooking and the lid will be taken off as the nodes are letting go of this T-square. Okay? They're moving on. So those of you that have had any planets, could be your rising, could be a planet, could be a special point, of the chart. For those of you that are obviously familiar with the special points in the astrology, which usually it's the ascendant, descendant, the IC, and the MC. For anyone who has 19 degrees of the mutable signs, Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, and Sagittarius, it's been really tough for you. Really tough. Okay, so this is breaking away finally, and I feel that as I said, that lid will be coming off that pot. Now, just looking to see, we've got Vesta here in Virgo at 20 degrees. She is a retrograde. I will be going into the mythology in a moment, but with Vesta here, there is wow, look at this this huge square, a grand square, which is, whichever way you look at it, I mean, there's squares all over, and this is like a big surge of energy. This speaks of someone pushing us to the edge, being pushed to the edge, where something needs to give. It's just like a volcanic eruption. Okay? And what was I saying? Okay, we've also got Black Moon Lilith here, right in between Uranus and Mars and Black Moon Lilith. I have mentioned her a few times. Black Moon Lilith is anything that is hidden, instinctual, raw, concerning our desires, our passion, subjects to do with equality or inequality. It's our animalistic pleasures. We all have Lilith in the chart somewhere. And she's a feminine energy, but she's very similar to a dark Venus. Okay, and she's also called a dark moon, a black moon. That's why she's called Black Moon Lilith. Okay, and she's concerning jealousy. She can bring up very dark emotions of, as I said, injustices or revenge, or just someone, when you're having a transit of Black Moon Lilith touching your planets or any certain points in your chart, you could be acting out of character. And she moves in a really funny way. She sort of goes up and down, up and down. She stays in an area for a while. It takes her a little while to move away. So it's as though she's sort of mocking you. If she's transiting over one of your planets, she could be very destructive, but she can also be very constructive. In mythology, she was Adam's first wife, who did not want to be beneath him. She did not want to serve him. She wanted equality. And since Adam did not accept that, did not go by that, did not believe in equality, being a divine masculine, she left him. And therefore, Adam had Eve. Eve came into the picture, and therefore Black Moon Lilith, she holds, she can hold a very destructive chapter, moment in our lives when we're having a Black Moon Lilith transit. And I've seen people losing their mind, acting totally out of character. When we learn what this depth, dark, instinctual, subconscious is within us, we learn how to make Black Moon Lilith constructive. Now she's, as I said, she's feminine. Even males have a feminine side, so she does not only affect the divine feminine, she's the feminine energy within all of us. Okay, and this is a very difficult expression right here. Uranus, Mars, and Black Moon Lilith in this area. So for those of you that are Taurian, you are going through a lot of challenges right now. Remember that Uranus in Taurus can also be, Taurus is naturally the house of money and values. So for some of you Taurians, Uranus can have anything to do with, money. So the way you pay, the way you earn, the way you invest. All cryptocurrencies are under Uranus in Taurus. A lot of you may know that there's been a sudden rise in Bitcoin and those currencies, those cryptocurrencies. Just take care, because fluctuating Uranus in Taurus can mean a quick high but a quick low. I've already mentioned that to many people. Just take care with that. Uranus in Taurus is also changing the way that we will be dealing with money. It's very futuristic. So as we know, for a lot of us that look into these things, sooner or later it's only going to be numbers, where there won't be any cash in the hand. Okay, we won't have money in the hand. Everything will be in numbers. That's what Uranus is all about newness. Anyway, we have Chiron still in Aries. Chiron is moving direct. He is sextiling over to the brigade in Aquarius. So a sextile is always very good. It's helpful energy, but a sextile is we need to do something. We need to move our hands. It doesn't come naturally to us, so we need to do the work. Chiron is that open wound. It can be an emotional, a spiritual, psychological wounding, which can be healed through a spiritual means. So a sextile, the sextile is over to 11 hours ago, so let's say early in the morning of the 6th of February, we had Chiron and Saturn being in an exact sextile. Well, Saturn is the limitations, the restrictions. As you can see, Chiron's glyph is like a key, so it can mean a solution or some sort of a key, a resolution to something that was very limiting, which is Saturn. Okay, it can also mean spiritual healing, physical healing from something that was quite heavy. Saturn is quite dark. Remember, he can relate to fears as well. And Aquarius is very new. The way things are done in a very scientific and very new way. Remember that Saturn can also mean governments. It's the governor general, it's top notch, it's the boss, it's the strict father. Okay, so a sextile is helpful energy as long as we're doing the work. Now, as you can see, Venus is at 6 degrees, so is Chiron, so that can mean spiritual healing in love matters, physical healing in love matters. And that just happened just recently, a few hours ago. Now, what we're looking at as I'm doing this reading is the Sun trining over. The Sun is trining over to the North Node and sextiling the South Node. So again, the Sun is very much about clarity. It's the ego. It's also very much... because it's connected to Leo, it rules Leo. What is Leo? It's generosity. It's very grandiose. It's our core self. It's the personality. So in Aquarius, remember, Aquarius is all about freedom. So this is very good, very positive, a very positive trine and sextile to the nodes. Okay? And the soul. Something very fated is coming through. The Sun is also clarity. So there's something futuristic about it, something about a wish fulfillment that was very fated, could be coming in for many of you. Remember that the Sun is also children. It rules the 5th house of children. And Aquarius being friendships, groups and associations. And remember also that the Sun many times is very fatherly. So this could be a fatherly friend that comes along your path to bring you blessings, give you that that positive vibe, that positive help. Okay, because we've got the Sun and Jupiter together, which those two coming together are one of the most positive conjunctions of the year. This year was a little bit of a roller coaster because, as you know, we've got difficult energies coming from Taurus, okay, which is a square. So all these planets here are sort of squaring, and they've already squared this area here, so not easy. Okay, as you could see with Vesta here, Vesta in square to the nodes, okay, to the nodes. Vesta is coming from Virgo. Virgo is all about service. It's our daily routine. It's our health. It's purity. It's what we do daily at work, how we provide a service. Okay, and I will come back to the mythology. I just wanted to add that the moon is right on the south node here and on Juno. And Juno is the asteroid of commitment. Okay, so the moon can mean our emotions, our subconscious, our mother, being very motherly to a commitment. Remember, Sagittarius is very positive. Now, the south node in Sag means we should be letting something go. So as I would say the moon is transiting Sagittarius, transiting over Juno and the south node, I think that once the new moon comes on the 10th or 11th of February, I think that that's when we will be able to detach from something karmic of the past in relation to commitment, something karmic that we needed to shed, let go of. And what is Sagittarius? Our truth, our beliefs, old outworn ideas of the past, maybe a past lifetime, a karmic connection. It's time to detach and say bye-bye. It's my time to be free. And that's what Aquarius needs, freedom. Now that could be on a personal scale and that can be on a collective scale. So new moon in Aquarius, everyone, beautiful new moon in Aquarius. Freedom is here, the freedom from detachment, from getting detached, the freedom from limitations, restrictions, heaviness, darkness. We're on our way up. The Aquarian season is here, and this is a small portal into the larger portal of the new age of Aquarius. Mark this new moon in Aquarius on your calendars. It is a very important new moon. Okay, let's see here. So also, as we could see here, as on the 11th of February, we have the North Node at 17 degrees. So what is the trine here? It is Mercury trining over to the North Node. This could be a conversation that needed to be had, communication. Mercury is very much the messenger, so he is very curious and he's looking beneath the surface. He's doing his homework. He's very intelligent here. He's got a very sharp brain, and what he's going to be finding, obviously he's going to be moving over Venus, which is love, Jupiter, which can mean legalities as well. And remember, all this area has got to do with wishes and dreams. So Mercury is doing its homework as it is transiting through Aquarius. And Gemini is also the twins. It's also your environment, your close environment, your siblings, your neighbors, the way you speak, the way you communicate, the way you converse, the way you write, the way you collaborate. Okay, so matters such as these will be coming up that will be very fated. Remember, anything connected to the nodes is all about fate. North Node is a growth spurt. It's learning. It's turning a corner. Never comfortable is the North Node. Is the South Node that is very easy to just keep the old, but it'll be like you're in a vacuum and you can't find your way out. This needs to be, it's work that needs to be done in this lifetime. Of course, these are the transiting nodes. They're not your own natal nodes, but on a collective energy, and on an individual scale, we're all affected by the north and south nodes in the sky. Okay, let's go on to the mythical oracle, because I'd like to just speak of, let's go first of all to Vesta, which in Greek mythology, the translation is Hestia. Estia in Greek means home, and the Latin translation is Vesta. Now the myth says Hestia is the daughter of Kronos and Rhea. Her name means hearth, the sacred fire. As you can see, she's a flame. The hearth was at the center of families and tribes. And when I say families and tribes, it's groups as well, right? Transference of fire from one sacred hearth to another represents continuing heredity. Now, what is the hearth? What is the fire? It is life, first of all, but it's passion, and it's also a passing down of the light, which means knowledge as well. Knowledge, life, all those things are under the sacred fire of Hestia. Hestia is the virgin goddess of the sacred hearth. So she's very much about keeping that fire burning, okay, providing a service, staying pure, okay, and keeping that fire going. That's how I see Hestia in the sign of Virgo. But this is square. She is square to the nodes. She is also square to Juno. Now Hestia is very much who keeps that fire burning, who keeps putting those logs on the fire at home. Look at that on a small scale, but think of it on a larger scale as well. Okay? Okay, so let's go on to Juno. Juno, which in mythology was known as HEIR, and she stands for duty. She was the wife of Zeus. HEIR, the queen of the gods, because the king of the gods, obviously, Zeus, Jupiter. HEIR, the queen of the gods, is the wife of Zeus and the daughter of Kronos and Rhea. Kronos is Saturn. She is the goddess of marriage, childbirth, power, and duty, staying at the side of Zeus despite his countless infidelities. Although there are many stories of her jealousy and vindictive actions toward the many lovers of Zeus. Okay, even though she was all about duty, I'm just explaining now, she was all about duty and marriage and staying on the side of Zeus. Despite that, in brackets it says there were stories of her jealousy and vindictive actions toward the many lovers of Zeus. It is through her anger that the core of many myths are born. She creates the challenges needed to be overcome by many gods and heroes, challenges that when overcome end up defining their power. Yes, she was very powerful, but she was also very dutiful. So again, she's all about an act of service and a sense of duty to our commitments. So her being right on that south node, this is what we need to take care of and shed. Okay, if there's been any infidelity, and infidelity doesn't have to be on a personal scale, infidelity can mean lies, deception, all those things, then that should be taken care of. And remember that the moon just passed over this area, and with a new moon in Aquarius at 23 degrees, 23 is a portal opening, right? there will be a sense of detachment and a freedom concerning these matters. And it's interesting that we have Juno at 16 sextiling over to Mercury. So these are matters of love. Truth needs to be told. We need to have the courage, okay, the courage and the intelligence. Remember, Aquarius is also that star. It's the star card in the tarot. It's all about having the courage and the eccentricity, finding new ways to detach from anything that has been difficult to handle. A sense of trying to be put in a box. Okay, this is Aquarius. There is freedom here. A freedom of speech, a freedom of truth, a freedom of breaking free, having a tower moment. If something hasn't been built on a solid ground, now it's going to start to break down and come down. Okay, so Vesta is also trining over to Mars. Mars is, of course, it is not very happy in Taurus because it is the ruling sign of Scorpio and Aries. So therefore it's a little bit slow. It's sort of slowed down in an earth sign. It's like wanting to press on that pedal, not being able to move forward quickly, but it also speaks of our passion. Sometimes when we're pressing on that accelerator and can't move quickly, it can be a little bit frustrating. But I feel that with Vesta here in retrograde, this is a chance to sort of give Mars its chance to be able to breathe and to do the work, right? If there has been no value in your lives, in whichever area, then I think that Vesta being retrograde is sort of like, okay, we're thinking about changing things up here, and as soon as Vesta turns direct, I think that that's when it will be all systems go. And remember, Virgo. Virgo is the Virgin Goddess. She provides a service, and she's all about health, hygiene, and truth and logic. Remember, Virgo is also ruled by Mercury. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. All right, everyone. Pluto is at 25 degrees. He's moving direct. He is trining over to Black Moon Lilith. Wow. Darkness, trining over to darkness. Look, Pluto is all about going deep. It's very transformative, but it's also very empowering. This is as though we're digging really deep to see what are those raw instinctual passion and desires that we need to learn how to be able to work with within ourselves. Now, Black Moon Lilith can also pose as another person in our life. Okay, but whatever this is, it's a trine, so it's very helpful. Pluto is transforming this Black Moon Lilith in the sign of Taurus. And remember that Pluto in Greek means riches as well. So I don't know how that ties in with your own personal life, but that's my understanding of it. All right, everyone, I think that I've covered most of my bases here. I do hope that you enjoy these astro updates. I just wanted to add also that in a few hours, everyone, we're going to have Venus squaring over to Uranus. Let's go back to the now because I'm confusing you like this. Venus is at 6 degrees and she is going to square over to Uranus. This could be a sudden revelations to do with anything that we love. Remember that it can be money as well. Wow, it can be money. And a square is turning a corner, right? A square is, it's a challenge. And when we turn a corner, we don't know what's on the other side of that corner. So it could be a sudden, shocking revelation, a tower moment, which has got to do with Aquarius and Taurus, both fixed energies. So where we've got fixed signs that don't like change, so a square is necessary to bring changes. So again, there's a sense of freedom here, but there's also a sense of money, values. Taurus can also be properties. You know, it's the earth. So that's what I see. Let's start to finish this this reading. Just another note, the sun is going to be very soon. Mercury is retrograding, so he will conjoin with the sun. He will go over the sun, so he'll jump over the sun and continue to retrograde. Remember that the messenger will be conversing with the king, so talking about past old good times or trying to reinvent something to do with Aquarius. Okay, again, something to do with newness, science, scientific matters, eccentricities. And in a couple of days, 2-3 days, we're going to have Saturn trining over to Chiron. And I did already speak about that. So a lot of fated things going on with Mercury, which will be trining over to the nodes as well. And actually, I want to go a little bit forward. So let's go to a very important day, which, let me just see where it is. So we've got Jupiter and Venus. Jupiter and Venus conjoining, everyone, on the 11th of February, Greek time that is, in Aquarius. This is amazing. We know that Jupiter expands on everything it touches. It's jovial, it brings positivity, it brings fairness and justice. This could be a very divine, unexpected message of love, or try your luck, have a go, maybe on a lottery ticket or anything like that. Luck could be coming through groups and associations and friendships as well. So I love this energy, everyone. 11th of February, 3 days before Valentine's. And I don't think I mentioned it here, but I do have a free giveaway for Valentine's Day. I will be doing a 30-minute tarot love reading. So those of you that are interested, join me on Instagram, and I've got the particulars there. Also, I've mentioned this on my last daily divine spread, which I've just uploaded. At the beginning of the reading, I go into the details there. So if you're interested, take part, but you've got to be quick because the winner will be announced on the 14th of February, on Valentine's Day. Here we are on Valentine's Day, everyone. Here we are. Actually, what I actually forgot to mention is Pallas Athene, which I said I would mention. So sorry. Pallas Athene, she's, I don't know if you've heard of the Greek goddess Athena. Okay, Athena is the goddess of wisdom, but also the goddess of war. And yeah, I almost forgot. The myth says Athena sprang fully grown from the head of Zeus, dressed in her war armor and shimmering gold, holding a sharp spear. Zeus had swallowed his first wife, Metis, whose name means wisdom, fearing that she would bear a son who would overthrow him. Metis was pregnant with Athena at the time. Athena is the virgin goddess of wisdom and appears throughout many myths, planning strategies for wars and guiding heroes towards their goals. Her ability to see things from a higher perspective allows her to see the best course of action to take. Athena and Poseidon competed. Poseidon is Neptune. Competed to become the patron deity of Athens. Poseidon created a spring which could bring water and trade, but it was salty and not good for drinking, while Athena created the domesticated olive tree, which brought forth food, wood, and oil. Her gift was chosen, and she became the patron of Athens, which was named in her honor. And what I wanted to mention in relation to Athena and Pallas Athene is that she's all about war and wisdom. Now, she's a divine feminine, okay? Usually, or how I see, well, Virgo is a virgin, more of a divine feminine energy. It is an earth sign, so it's feminine. The half of the home is usually the divine feminine. We also have Black Moon Lilith, which is a feminine energy, and we have Juno, which is a feminine energy. So there is very strong female, feminine, divine feminine energies which are bringing down the patriarchal system. Okay, the patriarchy is coming down. There is so much girl power, and I have sometimes I do mention that because, and I've mentioned it in previous videos, for those of you that think that from me is more of a racist comment, I don't mean that at all. I mean that even our Earth, Mother Gaia, it's all about birth and, you know, birthing something new, bringing balance, bringing a sense of security, that breast milk to humanity, that safety and security of the motherly deity, if we can call it, or motherly levels within us, motherly sides to our natures. Okay, and it's all about giving, because if we don't give, then we don't receive. That's how it is. What goes around comes around. So on that note, I want to take one card from the Moonology Oracle, because we're having a new moon in the sign of Aquarius. I'd like to see what the Moonology Oracle has to reiterate. What is the message, please, Spirit, in relation to that new moon? I will be doing a video. I will be doing a video on the new moon, so look out for that. And we have confidence is your key to success. New moon in Leo. Hello. That is saying that, and we do have the sun in Aquarius, which is the ruling planet of Leo. Leo is the child that wants to go out and play. Leo is very generous, very creative. It's all about children, right? Taking that risk, taking charge, taking the leading role, and taking on, you know, coming out from behind that curtain and doing what you know best. Now, we're talking about confidence. Confidence is the key. I was talking about Chiron here, the key to success. New moon in Leo, after the new moon in Aquarius, it'll be in exactly 6 months. So in the time of, as I was saying, the full moon in Aquarius will be in the time of Leo. So again, mark that on your calendars. That could be important. Whatever is going on now, we do have the lion, which is the king, which is a leader, which is generosity, and which is like a birthing. Okay, children are birthed. There is something new coming through. And on that note, I will leave you with today's update. I want to thank you all so much. I'd love to hear your comments. Please comment. I want to hear what you think. Even if it's just liking the video, that really works for me as well. And I'm wishing you well for the weekend. Thank you so much for your support, for all those comments and everything on all the love readings. I have done a few readings for you recently, and I hope that that is appreciated. This is my generosity to you. All I hope from you is your appreciation. You know what you need to do to show me your appreciation. And again, thank you in advance from the bottom of my heart. Love you all so much. Talk to you soon.